Welcome, everybody, to the Air Force Golf Show. I'm Dave Roberts.
I'm Rudy Jay.
Hey, we save lives one swing at a time. Hey, today's episode, Rudy, is going to be a fantastic one. We're going to talk about your journey in golf, what it means to you, and all the great programs that the military have.
I love it. Let's do it.
All right, folks, well, grab yourself a cold one. We'll be right back. You're listening to Rudy and Dave on the Air Force Golf Show. Welcome back, everybody, to the Air Force Golf Show. I'm Dave Roberts.
Rudy Jay.
And you know what? We're saving lives one swing at a time. Speaking about swinging, first of all, in the beginning of the show, Rudy, rumor has it that last December, that you made your first ace.
Yeah, man. August 2009, I was playing video games. I was playing the Tiger Woods video game and finally said, you know what? I'm going to go out here and do the real thing. And so I finally started playing. So I started in 09, 2025. So it took me 16 years. But the unthinkable finally happened. And we talked about this a long time ago, that I'd finally get one. And I didn't ever think I would, but I spoke it into existence. I was like, look, it was a short par three. It was about $120, $130. But it was still a hole in one. And I did exactly what I said I would never do. I remember when watching Steph Curry get his and he took off running down the par three fairway, if it's a fairway. I did the same thing. I don't know why. It was like an outer body. So I just took off running to the hole. And the other three guys, they're going crazy because they had never witnessed one. And I was out of breath and I came undone after the rest of the round because I was out of breath. So I played terribly the rest of the day because I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I was out of breath and I was tired. But yeah, a little pitching wedge.
But the feeling.
I mean, and it was I had stuck it close. Again, a hole in one is a hole in one, whether it rolls 30 feet, whatever.
Right.
But I stuck it to about 2-3 feet and it was an elevated par three. So I got to actually, because some hole in ones, you don't actually get to see them go in and you're looking around. I actually saw it drop in and everybody, it was crazy.
It was like, huh?
Out of body experience.
Isn't that awesome?
It was.
Well, you know what?
It only took 16 years.
But that's okay because I told you back then, it's going to come when you least expect it.
No, I wouldn't. I was like, oh, let me just stick one.
And because of that, here's what I'm going to do for you. I got you a little gift.
I've
got you a dozen PGA Hope golf balls, courtesy of the PGA of America.
Appreciate that. Look at that.
In lieu of your hole-in-one.
Thank you, sir.
So are we going to call him Rudy Ace now, or what are we going to call him?
Ace? Rudy Jay. He's still Rudy Jay. We're not. Don't put that pressure. Man. How many do you have?
Double digits. We'll just go there. 13. But I play professionally. You asked. I wasn't going to tell you.
This guy.
But it's
there's guys that play 50 years and never get one.
Right. And it happens when you least expect it.
I don't have 13 birdies.
You will after I take care of you with Get Golf Ready. But
right. Thank you for the sleeve.
No, great.
PGA Hope balls.
So your journey through golf, we talked about earlier in a previous episode that in 2026 your goal is to get 5-6 strokes better than your.
Yeah, well, I want to get down to about a 15. I know there's no elevators to a better handicap. You got to take the stairs.
Yes.
So I'm about 22 right now. So if we could get down to 15 by the end of the year.
That's that 6 or 7.
What is the handicap? Maybe everybody doesn't know.
Well, what
we always like to explain things.
Handicap is where you can play against me and you get strokes per hole.
So let's scratch.
Right. So if you have a handicap of 22.
You have to beat me by 22?
Well, what it is every hole you will get a stroke.
Right.
And then on the 4 hardest holes, you'll get 2 strokes. So let's say it's a par 4 and it's 440 yards. Okay. You're going to get 2 strokes. Okay. So you're going to hit a drive and you're going to hit another shot. Technically, you're at net 0. Okay. Where I've hit my drive, I'm at 1. Okay. Because sense. This is where usually the golfer then messes up, especially around the short game. And that's where I get it all up. The great part is on a par 3. That right there, let's say you didn't knock it in for a hole in one, but you knocked it close, okay? And you tapped it in, you had been 2 net 1. Instead, you were 1 net 0.
Right.
So that's how you can compete with me hole by hole, and we can have fun matches, or we could just do the overall score. You can play it any way that you want.
That's fine. Okay.
So you want to get
for people
6 to 7 strokes better. Okay.
Yeah, I want about 6, 7 strokes better by the end of 2026.
Okay.
You know, with life and children, I don't get to play as much, so I'm gonna take baby steps. I'll take 5 to 6 strokes better by the end of the year.
I That is well within reach because there are just certain things. How many formal lessons have you had?
0.
Okay, there you go. You're about to have 5.
I'm self-taught. I'm a YouTuber. I YouTube lessons, and then I'm on my head.
Well, guess what? This is going to be live and in
Yeah,
color,
yeah,
baby. I mean, this is on the spot correction because when I was overseas, I would watch Lee Trevino, but you know what? I couldn't mimic what he did. So when I
no,
sliced it worse, he wasn't telling me.
no,
I had to go back and
absolutely
this is the
not.
days of the VCR tape. So I had to wind it back and stuff
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
So no, it's well within.
Reach.
Yes, and this is what we do. We as we were talking in the last episode, being the grandfather of, in my twilight of the career, I'm like, speak that I can talk with you. I'm in the 2-minute warning. I'm fourth quarter 2-minute warning, but I still got 3 timeouts. Is that
Yeah,
more?
and
That's more.
I like that.
Go
I
right
like
there.
that. It
Okay.
started off dark, but I like that.
Okay. So I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. It's my pleasure to help folks like y'all make a difference, and because golf needs to be fun. Right? Instead of going out there and just, pulling your hair out, and as we
Yeah.
discussed previously, people throwing clubs and doing all that stuff. I want you to
Never.
go out there and have a good time. You need to escape the rat race. Why not have fun? So if I show you 4 basics that you could easily remember, grip, alignment, stance, and position, guess what? You're going to be fantastic. It's GASP.
Gas.
Everything has an acronym.
Grip,
So
alignment,
GASP,
stance,
grip,
position.
alignment, stance, and position. And I'll show you how the guys do it on tour and stuff like that. And
Everything's an acronym with the
oh,
military.
yes, everything is a acronym. Matter of fact, one of the programs we're talking about is called the SAGE program, but that's the Single Airman Golf Experience.
So tell me a little bit about the Sage experiment.
Well, one of our monikers here is we save lives one swing at a time, right?
Okay.
Um, all of us in the military, when I was in, we're all been deployed, affected. We've been parts of the world that we unaccompanied. We've went and we've had to take care of the mission. And so in golf, what happened is I wrote this program for the Air Force that, let's say that you were an airman and you come and you're unaccompanied, you're here in San Antonio, the family couldn't come for whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Gotcha.
have a program in place that you can come to the golf course and then we could treat you like a country club. And then we have the Unite funds, which I was discussing. And as a squadron, because we want you to meet people, right? You could bring this, the squadron comes, the single airman golfer, deployed affected, comes in, and guess what? Y'all can have a great time and it can be funded through our fund of the Unite Fund.
Do you feel like golf is secondary to the camaraderie?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just a
That's
vehicle.
what it sounds.
It's a vehicle to get there.
I was like, okay, so I mean, obviously, you just said you want to play fun, have fun, and play some golf, but actually
We want to be
leaving
more
your home and
social.
meeting people and
It's all about
socializing, and
socializing.
golf is just the dessert.
Right. And I promise that when we go out there, I will not bring the salt shaker. I won't turn your Wi-Fi off because I'm in the no phone zone.
No phone zone. We should all be in the no phone zone when we're
Because we're
playing.
going to go out and we're going to go have fun. And so one of my stories that I usually tell folks, because they say, Dave, how did you really get serious in golf? And one of my classic stories, as I always say, is I was deployed affected over in Korea back in the 80s. And
A good time.
I didn't.
Was that a good time?
It was a great time. I was away from home the first time overseas,
Yeah.
and I'm a military brat. So, you're always controlled when you go with the parent. But when I was by myself, I didn't want to get caught up in the rat race that usually goes on over there. I don't drink a lot, so that was not my thing. So a friend of mine says, the golf course is 6 kilometers down the road. We're going to walk to it with our bag. We'll take a cab back, put $2 in our pocket and we'll pay the cab Odyssey. We'll pay him to come on back. Well, I learned to play there. And so instead of going out to the clubs all night or drinking the trash can juice and doing all the other crazy things that were going on, right? Because everybody is away from their families, I played golf. Then I went to the bowling center, bowled a little bit, and then I came on back. And I'm thankful because in hindsight, I think that probably would have saved my life because growing up from Corpus Christi, I was a surfer guy. I used to have long hair, got the earring. I was the party animal, and then when I joined the military, it was like a polar opposite action.
Right.
And I think that
That makes sense.
playing golf and my buddy Dwayne Gardner, he said it saved my life. I tell people it saved my life, and so that's why in the things that I do for Air Force Services Center is to keep that in mind of making a difference in their lives. And so the programs that are right, like this, the Sage program, there's other programs that I sent you a thing on Fling Golf. Fling Golf is like a lacrosse stick, but you can play because not everybody can play golf.
No.
And the gentleman who designed it, um,
Speaking of fling,
fling.
right?
Yes, you take the stick and you fling it just like lacrosse, but it has a little hook on it where the ball is on it, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
And
I saw that.
he couldn't play golf. I mean, the guy would shoot like 180 and get frustrated, but his friends would play. So he came up, he used to be a lacrosse player, came up with this idea. And the military got a hold of it. The Air Force did. We now have it in 32 bases across the world.
That's amazing.
It's for those folks. You want to go out and fling 9 holes, go right ahead. Um,
But I think that comes back to it's just about getting out and meeting people, whatever it is that you're gonna do, whether it be
right.
fling, there's soccer golf now. We all know I've seen those type of courses out there. So it's mainly about getting out, meeting people, and getting off of the Instagram and the Facebook and those things.
I would totally agree. Because social media can be very powerful in
It's a
people's
great
lives.
thing.
Oh, it's a great thing, but you can get wrapped up so much into it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so the programs that we provide for the military are to keep that in mind. Again, get off the screens, get on the greens, get off the Xbox, get on the T boxes. Yes, your T-shirts probably will be made by the
Get
time
off
we go
the
play.
Xbox, get on the tee box. I
Right?
love it. I love it.
Yeah, I sent you that logo. I thought you
That
might
was
get a
great.
kick. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. But that's what we keep in mind because there's a lot of airmen that get stuck in the billets, the barracks, however you want to call it, and they don't go out. And then so their social awareness is really dropping. And then when it's time to, let's say you go in front of a promotion board or something to that
Great
effect,
point.
they don't have those social skills. And then you get the the mumbles and stuff like this. They're not confident because it's so easy to talk to somebody online because there's no face to face, right?
Like
You're
this.
what they call
Right.
it, keyboard warriors.
Right.
Blah, 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 that's all they do. But when you all of a sudden you get out in public, and you can tell those folks, and we talked about on the golf course um, in our last episode, you can kind of tell those folks because when you go out to play them, they're very to themselves. And then they want to go grab that phone. They can't get off that thing. It's such a crutch. Well, you got to hit your shot. Well, hold on a second. My BFF and the OMG and and you're like, okay.
Right.
And let's play golf because the people behind us, they didn't pay that money to watch you stay on your cell phone the entire time. So when we put these programs back in place, we got a great one coming up over the next several years. We've budgeted out a lot of money, and this is to take care of our airmen and those who play our golf courses, and it's get golf ready with clubs. And with the 5 lessons,
Not nightclubs, golf clubs.
golf clubs, no nightclub, no nightclub.
I'm messing
Yeah,
with you.
we're gonna go
But
5 lessons. By
let
the
me,
fifth lesson, you're going to the
yeah,
nightclub.
let me ask you this though, because we've talked, about a few different programs. Have you seen the number of people actually getting out and playing grow?
Yes.
Okay, because that's ultimately the goal. But so have y'all seen that spike?
Before I get to get golf ready, let me tell you. All right. Last year, we had 2 less bases, 2 less golf courses due to economic reasons,
Whatever,
stuff like
right?
that. They closed, and we did 1.3 million rounds of golf in Air Force portfolio. The year before, with those 2 extra
Wait,
bases, we did 1.2.
2025 you did 1.3 or 2024?
How about FY25?
Really?
Yes,
1.3 million rounds.
yes. And then the year before, we did 1.25.
So you saw a 500,000 spike in rounds. That's
Just
insane.
it is very
That's a good insane.
it is yeah it's very let me go with the numbers for you because this is vitally important. Our airmen E1 to E4, we matched the National Golf Foundation. They said that the 18 to 34-year-olds is the fastest growing sector in golf now, which is very surprising because of the way Gen Z and the
It's
millennials
hard to get them
right.
to do anything
But they're
else.
now becoming a social event. They're feeling it's a social event. So E1 to E4 was up 22% last year.
That's great. And I think while obviously we're talking about the Air Force, the growth in youth on social media, which again, it can be a great thing, but it's also a bad thing. But on the great side, you have a lot more young influencers playing golf. And you told me, a few months back, it's the second fastest growing sport on YouTube. It may be one now. Golf is trending.
Oh, it's
It
trending.
it
Oh,
is
yeah.
trending. So
And
I'm not shocked. I'm shocked at the 1.3. I am. That's a huge number, but I'm not shocked at the age group that's playing more because they're seeing guys and women their age playing golf. And it looks like you said, it looks like a great social event. Now, whether I play golf good or not is secondary.
and that is correct because it's you see these social influencers that go out and they play golf or they try a trick
Trick
shot,
shot,
whatever
whatever.
it might be. That's like Taylor Swift telling all the ladies it's great to go watch football because she's with Kelsey, right?
Right.
So it's the exact same thing. So what you do is we take advantage of that moment.
See,
Okay.
yeah, Joe.
And we do more social media. We move more digital. We do the bogey bobs. We do the small little 15-second clips to get people interacting and hashtag it golf because then that's going to go all around the world and folks are going to get interested. What's really exciting is everybody thinks that retirees are what makes military golf courses go round and round. And actually last year,
I
and
would think that. I'm
our
ignorant in that fact.
guests of our military actually outgrew the number of the retirees. So it goes guest, retirees, active duty.
Now I know them retirees like, hey man, the golf course a little packed today. I know I can get a tea time.
Yeah.
I know I can get a tea time anytime I want to. It's starting to fill up a little
But
bit
see,
for the
that's a good thing
retirees.
because then we can invest back into our golf courses. And that's vitally important. Everybody is under
That
the
is huge.
misconception that Congress funds our golf courses. They don't. The MWR fund, which I'm wearing the shirt, morale, welfare, and
You knew
recreation.
I was gonna ask.
That's
Okay.
why I started pointing up here. I'm
Okay.
like the dot guy, dot, dot, dot,
Yeah.
right? We fund our golf courses. What we make is what we are allowed to spend, and it goes into what we call the MRF, which is MWR, and an F for the fund. And then we're able to pull from there to do the projects like redoing our greens, getting new golf carts, irrigation, things like that, new pro shop.
And can I say, as a guy that plays munis or wherever, that's a huge. The reason I want to reiterate that point is because a lot of golf courses have raised rates, but the golf course is staying the same. So I think that's a point that needs to be pushed home. Like, hey, yeah, we're making a lot of money, but guess what? We're throwing it right back into it to make the airman's experience even better. So I just wanted to reiterate that point because not all golf courses across the country do that.
You're right. I am a product of that. One of my former stops made a lot of money for the owner, and it wasn't put back in. There was no
See,
recapitalization, and at the end, the golf course closed, and he
bingo,
sold it out.
bingo.
With our military, it's a little tougher to do that, but our goal is to educate the leaders who are in position to make those decisions of all the benefits. Remember, we talked about National Golf Day last episode, and we talked about why our industry's leaders go to Congress, talk about the economic, the physical, all
Right,
that
right,
impact. Well,
right.
that's what we do on a smaller scale, is when we're going, and I have a thing called the Grow Golf Around the World Tour, where I introduce programs and to bases around the world.
Mhm.
And I make sure that I do talk to leadership and give them that set of eyes from our point of view of why it is not only important for the airman's well-being, his resilience, but what it can do for your base. I mean, it's vitally important, and no commander wants that. We don't want them hitting the easy button. We would want them to understand that the resiliency and the getting refreshed and just the sociability and everybody getting together, whether it's the golf course or the bowling center or wherever, is vitally important to have our war fighters ready when the call comes. I mean, because it comes at any moment. I mean,
Yeah, we talked about
1983, it
that.
came in. We thought we were going to the field. We weren't going to the field. We were going to parts that nobody knew about, right? I had to look up on the map where I was going. Um, I didn't know. And so we have to have them refreshed. We have to have them ready. We got to have the family unit ready too, because the family,
Well
you
said.
know, um, we purple up in April for the children because that's one of the toughest things is the military month of the child. Um, they get moving and moving and moving and moving, and daddy's gone or mommy's gone and stuff like this. So if we have programs in golf where we can get them involved, right, to get their mind off of some of that stressors, then come to the golf course. This is your home. This is your second home. You feel good. You're with your peers. Go play, enjoy, and then learn the basics of golf and the basics of life.
Well, 1.3 million says y'all doing something right. So congrats on that to everybody involved. Everybody.
Yes, we have a great team headed by Miss Scott, and we got a great marketing team who actually markets what we do. They believe in what we do, and that's vitally important because you know what? You could have the greenest golf course looking like Augusta, Georgia, right? But
Mm,
if you don't market it and people don't know about it, guess what? You got the greenest golf course that looks like Augusta, Georgia, and nobody on it. So we rely on our marketing
right.
department heavily to put out our product and tell everybody, hey, it's okay to play golf. All right.
It's fun.
It's not the old man cardigan wearing, cigar smoking. It is for everybody. And now that the numbers are showing it, it is so exciting. And what's really great, Rudy, is we are mirroring what's happening outside the gate with the National Golf Foundation, reporting their numbers, and then we're matching their numbers. So I
Right.
think we're doing something right. But at the end of the day, it's all about making a difference in their lives.
Now, saving lives is a strong statement. That's a strong, just that in itself, saving lives. And you say you saving lives. You start every show, end every show, one swing at a time. How are you saving lives one swing at a time?
Well,
It's a strong statement.
let's go back to Korea. Okay, I'm in
You
Korea.
saved yours for sure.
Right. So why can't I game that same thought pattern to all of our airmen that are out there? Because again, outside life in high school and like I said, I grew up in Corpus as a beach bum, right? And then
Korea,
all of a
go-
sudden,
oh yeah.
so then all of a sudden you go to basic training at Lackland Air Force Base. And then all of a sudden you go to advanced training, AIT, right? And then all of a sudden you go to parts unknown and you're all by yourself. And there's not mom, there is not dad. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of loneliness and stuff like that. And so it's our mission to get them engaged in our activities.
Mm,
And ours, for me, it's golf. And to show them it's a great social event, it's great physically, it can be great mentally. Um, you know, when they do go out and decide to leave the military, golf is part of a big business. I mean, you get people go play the scrambles with all the big business leaders. So it we try to start that ecosystem now with the juniors and the dependents, and then we get to the airmen, and then the veterans, and then the retirees.
There's a lot of big business on the golf course.
Oh, yeah, a lot of
A
big
lot of tax
business.
write-offs, a lot of big business. So you want
Yes,
to be prepared. You're preparing them for that if they, take it up.
right, and our goal is to give the like, the Unite program where we're paying for them out of our funds here at the agency and the Department of the Air Force to go out as a squadron, go have fun, whether it's just a day on the driving range,
Oh,
loud music and a burger burn, or is it go out and we used to do a thing in Aviano a long time ago. I had a friend who's a pro out there. He went and put an old tank out there that was all beat up,
and you
and
try to
you
hit it.
try to hit it. If you clank the tank, you could go into the pro shop and he'd have a T-shirt that says "I clanked the tank."
I love
Now,
it.
of course, it was like 320 yards, and but you know what?
Wasn't a lot of t-shirts being given out, but still, it's still fun to go out and do with your squadron. I got you.
Right, and you
Yeah.
go have, and then it builds that social thing because what's behind all of the social thing is when we do go into battle and it's real life and it's not what you see on TV. You're trusting that buddy,
Mm,
and the more that you feel
that's deep.
comfortable and you know him,
That's
the
deep.
better it is. So why don't we start in the peacetime era and build those relationships through our game of golf therapy, and then when real time stuff hits, let me tell you,
You know,
you
yeah.
trusted that
You
guy
know he
because
has your back.
you know what happens on the golf course. You just don't go and go, okay, I'm here. No, y'all talk. You get to know each other, and that's so vitally important because our airmen. I was in a meeting a couple of weeks back, and I spoke out about you know, our airmen. We have to champion their cause. Okay. Whether it's the E1 to E4, E5, E9, or the officers, doesn't matter. We got to champion their cause because you know what? They're the ones who keep us free every single day. And if we lose sight of that,
Mm,
then we've lost sight of the real mission that what Air Force Services is all about.
man, very well said. I think that was a mic drop. I think that was a mic drop. Yeah, I think that was a mic drop.
Well, I love what I do. I've run golf courses, as you know, I've tried to play on tour. Those guys were way better than I am. Yeah, but I found my niche in life about making difference in people's lives, just kind of like what you do. I've watched some of your shows. I love them
Mhm.
because, and you have that message, and we have that message as well. Ours is just a little different because we are military, but at the end of the day, it's about making a difference in people's lives, and you do that. I do that. And we can only do that with the backing of our leadership, right? If they didn't believe in us to make the cause happen, then it'd be a struggle. And it's really fun to go out into the field and do a staff visit. And I'll tell the manager, I'm coming, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do this, but I want to have a free clinic fall active duty.
Active. Gotcha.
I was out at Edwards Air Force Base in the middle of the Mojave Desert. Okay. There's 45 people there. I didn't know there were 45 people lived in the Mojave Desert, but there were 45 people. And there's one of me with a microphone giving
Yeah.
golf lessons. But you know what? At the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Wow, that was the coolest thing. That
Yeah.
was so cool
Finding
because,
finding a call is a beautiful thing.
and so people, afterwards, hey, Dave, we really appreciate it. We identified, and I said, well, that's my mission. My mission in life, is to make sure that I can't take it with me. So why not give all my knowledge and make a difference in their lives that, you know what, if there's a moment of stress, let's go hit the links. Okay. I'm stressed out, man. Let's go take it out on that golf ball.
Right,
Let's go
right.
hit that, whether we go to the driving range or whatever. Let's do that.
Awesome. Anything that we left out that you want to tell the people?
Folks, if you're not golf ready in 2026, 27, or 28,
I will be.
you know what? You need to go to your local Air Force golf course because we are getting golf ready with a set of clubs. This is a great bargain. Okay. You're going to get a set of clubs, 5 lessons, 2 free rounds of golf.
Where do I sign?
Like we said in the military, the dotted line.
Where do I sign?
Sign it right
2 free
here.
rounds?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
So you're going to get quality lessons from PGA professionals. You're going to get 2 rounds and a set of clubs, and that is our mission for the next 3 years in Air Force golf. And again, we're going to save those lives. We're going to change those lives, and we're going to make sure that that 1.3 grows and eventually get to 1.4.
Oh, it'll get there. It'll get there. I mean, if it stays on the trajectory you're on from 24 to 25.
I think it will because we have a lot of caring golf managers out there who are on the same thought process. We have a lot of older pros who are, I'm not saying twilight of
I
the
got to
career.
meet some, and they were all of them were great guys. All of
They
them great
they
guys.
they know the mission. They've been through the training and they're ready to just make that difference. And I think that's the difference being in the military than outside the public sector. Sometimes in the public sector, everybody's just out for their own.
Yeah, it's a
We
little
we we,
different.
we are
It's a
we are
little different.
all
No,
about
we all
one thing.
together, baby. Right.
So saving lives one swing at a time, and I will continue that until even after I retire. Because you know what, after I retire from the my military service, I'm gonna start a golf academy and continue to go.
I'll be there.
I know you will, because I'm gonna hook you in. I'm gonna be like, what that Bill Dance with the big old fish? I'm gonna hook you right in.
I'll be there, man. You don't have to pull my leg. I'll be there.
Is there anything you got before we go?
No, man. Great time as always, man. A lot of great information, and I got 1.3 million reasons why we should keep it rolling.
Yes, I am so excited, and I look to go to 1.4. And don't forget, we're going to get you out there on the golf course pretty soon. But until then, folks, we're going to wrap this up. Rudy, it's always great. Congratulations again on your hole in one, man. That is like totally awesome sauce. I
I
dig
love
that.
that.
I know that feeling, and it is a good feeling.
It gets you back out there.
You know,
It only takes one good shot. That's the other thing. It only takes one good shot to get you back
And
out
then you're
there.
like, okay, remember I
I'm
told
hooked.
you golf's not a sport, it's addiction. See, now you're like, I'm
It's-
hooked, man. Now you're gonna go out there and buy that shirt. You're gonna go, oh. So, hey, folks, y'all do what it takes to keep yourself safe. We'll see you on the next episode of the Air Force Golf Show. I'm Dave Roberts.
Rudy J.
We're saving lives one swing at a time.